listeners of the T.R.O.N podcast, The Randomness of Nothing. This is your host, Rashad Woods. Today, I have a very special guest today by way of Florida, currently in New York right now. She's a TED Talk speaker, entrepreneur, businesswoman, and is here to teach you about the science of your body and how you can actually be having oxygen deprivation. She's the CEO of Water as Vida Technologies, Teresa Reile. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Rashad. Nice to be on your show. It's nice to see you.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought some of the Florida weather up to Michigan here too, because it was really tough for a couple of weeks up here. So thank you for warming it up here with your presence.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Please tell us about your background.
Okay. Well, my background is very diverse, but I'll stick to like the business stuff. I'm a mom. I have 3 boys, but I've always been in business. Like I only worked for a person like 1 or 2 times in my life. I was always doing my own thing. Always, because I don't know, I'm just a nonconformist. I can't be, having people, I hate being on a schedule, all that sort of thing. So I've always been doing my own thing. And I've had many, many different businesses. There was a point in my life with my now ex-husband. We owned a lot of different companies from ranging from, oh my gosh, a racetrack and a waste business and a campground. We had many, many different companies. So, and it was cool. I mean, we were really super busy and had a lot of fun building the businesses and stuff. And then we ended up getting divorced, and I was like, oh my God, I got to invent myself again. So I opened up a biomass company. I was the first woman in the United States to have a company that was retrofitting coal plants to biomass. And it was fun. I mean, I'm not kidding.
That's amazing.
I'm the type of person that it's like, you know what, let's just do it, as Richard Branson says, So I was like, yeah, what the hell, we're going to do it. So I started this company. We had our first contract was very large. And so we just started doing it. And my background in the waste business gave me the courage or whatever to do this, because I really wasn't an expert at it. I became an expert real quick because I had to, but then I got out of that business and I got really sick. I came down with cancer.
I'm so sorry. And that.
Yeah, but that whole ordeal is what led me to what I'm doing today, which, believe it or not, it was so cool. So I came down with cancer and I had a horrendous operation. It was, and you can read about it in my book. I came out with a book. I wrote about it. It's called From Tumor to Triumph, My Oxygen Awakening. It's on Kindle. It's a super easy read. I'm not trying to sell the book, but it's a super easy read, but it gives you my whole story. It was very, very, very scary at the time. And because I had an operation, and then like a couple years later, my intestines exploded inside me as a result of that operation. I was quote unquote cancer free, but then, I had to go through this, and the operation, oh my God, what they did to me in the hospital then was worse than having cancer. It was way worse, but I came through it. I'm still alive. And then I came across this incredible technology, which is what I'm doing now with Water as Vida under the brand name of Patriox liquid oxygen.
Okay.
So this is, I didn't know it at the time, but in 2022, my cancer was coming back.
Oh my gosh.
And if I did not stumble upon this technology, I would probably be dead. And so it was really weird. It was really weird. Like I sold my place up in New York and I moved to Florida, but a friend of mine needed a place to stay in Florida. And so he was there, and I didn't really think about why he was in Florida because he was from California. And when I went to Florida, I'm like, what are you doing here? And he said, well, I had stage 4 cancer. I was sent home to die. My wife had stage 4 cancer. She was sent home to die. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, but I realized that it's really hypoxia. And I'm like, what the heck is hypoxia? And he says, it's lack of oxygen in your mitochondria. And so I'm like, interesting because in the presence of oxygen, disease can't exist. And, Otto Warburg won the Nobel Prize for discovering that a lack of oxygen underlies about 90% of what ails the body. So I'm like, wow, this is super interesting. And so he told me about this technology where you drink this stabilized drinkable oxygen at room temperature and you bathe in it as well. And I said, well, where did you find out about this? He said, well, a friend of a friend told us about it. It was in Hungary. So literally about 2 days later, I was on a plane to go to Hungary.
Jeez.
So I went there, and at the time I felt totally fine. I was working out all the time. I felt fine. I was doing great. And, but I had this little bump on the bottom of my foot, and it was inside the arch of my foot. And I went to the chiropractor, I went to the doctor, the osteopath, the podiatrist. No one knew what it was. They were all like, oh, don't worry about it. It's just some bump, And I'm like, okay, it didn't hurt.
Callus,
but I went over there. No, it wasn't a callus. No. It was on the inside. It was inside of my foot.
Okay.
And it was like, it was just protruding. It looked like a fatty bump, those lipomas that people get, but it wasn't that. It was this hard bump inside my foot. And so, but all the doctors, don't worry about it. So I went there and I partook in a bath, in this oxygen bath. And 50 minutes later, that bump was gone on the bottom of my foot. And that bump had been there since I had my cancer.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, what? So I was like, that's odd.
Very odd.
So yeah, I was like, wow, that's kind of bizarre. And I told the inventor there, and I'm like, this is wild. He's like, oh my God, that's cool. We get cool stuff that happens all the time. So I stayed there for a couple days, and then I went back home. And I decided with the guy that told me about it that we wanted to open up a spa here in America like that. So we booked a flight back there, but the doctor, the inventor over there, he goes, why don't you just take a scan of your body just to make sure that you're totally healthy? Because I always like to get a baseline of your hypoxic level before you begin in the oxygen. And that way I can tell if, what's going on.
Of course.
So I said, okay. So I did all the blood tests and all this stuff. And I went over there. And he's like, he goes, I think you should just go in the tubs 3 times a day, at least for 2 weeks. Just do it and drink a bottle of water a day at the oxygen. And I said, okay. And, it felt good. I was in the bath, and you go in there for 3 times a day. You watch a movie, whatever. It was like super relaxing. Yeah. But then I started feeling really, really good. Wow. After about 2 weeks, I'm like, wow, I feel really good. Not that I felt that bad before. But I was starting to feel really good, and it was noticeable. So the doctor calls me into his office, and he goes, I want you to go get new tests. And I said, okay. So I went and got new tests, and I came back, and he showed me the difference. My cancer was coming back,
oh my God.
And I didn't know it. However, after 2 weeks of being in the tubs, it was completely gone. And he said, listen, we don't handle cancer here. We handle hypoxia, because what we're doing is we're getting the body strong enough to heal itself. Because when the mitochondria have enough oxygen, they increase your immune system and your body can heal itself. And I'm like, whoa, that is super amazing.
Yeah.
So since then, I started bringing other people there and whatever. And one day I kind of had this epiphany, because he came out and I heard him say to the receptionist, oh, the water's ready. And within an hour, there was a line of cars outside the spa. Okay. And people were coming and loading up their cars and their trucks with this water to drink. And I'm sitting there thinking, what? And it just hit me. I have to bring this to America. I have to do it.
Yeah, right.
And I just decided I'm doing it. That's it. And so I went in and I told him, I said, I'm bringing it to America. Because, yeah, everybody says that, whatever.
And, you don't know me, right? You know what I mean? Like, you don't know me.
Yeah. And, well, he didn't. I was just some broad in his spa in sweatpants every day. You know what I mean? Like he didn't know anything about me. He didn't know my background.
Yes.
And I'm like I love starting things. Like I'm a starter, and I really do get things going. Right. And so it took 3 months of talking to him pretty much every day for him to really know that I was really serious to do it, because he said, I get people telling me all day, every day, they want to do this. Nobody ever comes through. And I said, well, I'm going to.
Exactly.
I am going to come through, because America needs to handle their hypoxia. They need to, because the food is bad. I'm sorry.
I just, yeah, I didn't want to cut you off, but I'm like, why is that not available over here as prevalent? You're going to get to that, I'm sure, but it's amazing that that's over available there. And then all of a sudden, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it just like, this should be something that should be normal
It should be. And so, but it really wasn't real prevalent over there either.
Okay.
This man spent 25 of his years of his life perfecting this, because he was on a mission to make an effective delivery system of oxygen to the mitochondria, because most functional medicine modalities, their whole goal is to get more oxygen to the mitochondria. But we have oxygen. Our product is oxygen, and it goes right to the mitochondria within 30 seconds. So I was like, listen, I'm going to take this to America. I have to do it. I'm on a mission. I'm going to do it. And over the months, and actually it took about a year and a half to actually make the deal with him to because he didn't trust anybody. He didn't want anyone stealing the technology, of course. And I wouldn't do that. I just want to bring it to the world. So anyway, we're now business partners, and we're doing this. And we built a machine, a big, huge manufacturing machine, and it's on its way right now. Yep, it's on its way right now to the United States, and we're going to be manufacturing here in about 2 months. And we're manufacturing just north of Atlanta.
That's mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing. And this happened all within a span of 2 years, and it's happening. And since then, I've been importing the water from him, and we've been helping thousands and thousands of people. And I get people pretty much every day.
Oh my
that
God.
Yeah, they call me, and they're like, they just call me to tell me they love me for what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, this handled this, this handled that. We've had so many like people with success stories that their immune systems are just like great now, and they have super energy. We have athletes that are like, wow, this is incredible stuff. I don't get lactic acid buildup afterward, and it's just like, and I'm super happy to be doing. Yeah.
Did you have trouble with the logistics of, FDA regulations, laws, U.S., compliances and things like that? Was that what was the challenge in doing that, or were there
Well,
any?
there's not really any, because really it's water, but it's structured water,
Okay.
so there's nothing there, but it took 25 years to do it, and other people have tried, but this guy had it down. And so, but there's been a lot of like logistical things, because what I need now, I need to get the word out to everyone what we're doing, so that they get this water. Like, we're selling it on our website. Our website is patriox.us.
Yeah.
And I'm always available for people when they call and whatever, up until a point when I'm going to be way too busy. But I try to answer everyone's calls and talk to them individually. I feel so good when I can help people get
That's
this,
amazing.
it is amazing. As a matter of fact, I was on a call with a guy just last week, and he had ordered some of the water, and it came while we were on the call. and so he opens it up and he drinks some, and he's like, yeah, let's see if this is whatever. And literally 4 minutes later, he's like, oh my God. He goes, this stuff is for real. Yeah. He goes, I feel good. Yeah. I feel good. And I said, yeah, it goes right into your cells. It's super cool. So I think that my experience in the past as being like this entrepreneur that just doesn't stop is what made it easier, I would say. It's never easy in business,
you
but
already had the drive.
Easier.
It was already in you to go ahead and make sure that you saw this to completion. You weren't somebody that was wild, then went back home and went back to your regular everyday life. Like, you saw, you had
right.
You have that in your DNA, that this was something that you were going to see to completion. And the doctor over there, the individual, probably saw a lot of people, and didn't get anywhere close to anybody who's going to follow up to your level.
Right. Yeah, true. True. And he's had a lot of like famous people that wanted to do it, but he was like, no, they're in it for money. I'm not, and I'm really not in it for money. I really want to help people because I've been through the worst ordeal that anyone could imagine, and I've helped a lot of people. And I've been in other businesses like the biomass and the waste business and racing and all that sort of thing. And all that is fun and it's all whatever. But this is really,
Live
for me,
impact.
a purpose.
Right.
Oh, yeah, because we're helping people, and there's so many people sick out there, people tired,
Oh my gosh.
Like I'll tell you, the number one symptom of you being hypoxic is tired and fatigue. Fatigue is the number one thing that people complain of, but that just means that you're way more hypoxic. And if you can get rid of the fatigue, holy cow. I had a guy right now with pancreatic cancer. I sent him some and he's like, oh my God, he goes, it helps with the fatigue.
Yeah.
It just helps with the fatigue because the fatigue from chemo is really, really awful. So he's drinking it along with his chemo treatments and stuff because he knows he's really hypoxic.
I saw your TED talk and I thought it was very, poignant when you actually, and interesting because people don't really think about this, right? You said you can go weeks without food. You can go days without water, minutes without oxygen. And I was like, holy, you don't even think about that, right? Because you're just like, maybe because you take breathing so for granted, so to speak. But then you realize that literally, too long in a pool, you're unfortunately, something very tragic can happen to you because you're deprived of oxygen. You talk about people who stay at elevated levels all the time, pilots, people who ski, people who hike, and then you start looking at all those other things that, oh man, this makes a lot of sense as to why there's a lack of oxygen in your body, your cells, your tissues. I wasn't very familiar with the term hypoxia, but I did know about lack of oxygen, but I didn't know the impact can really have on your tissues and your cells.
Oh yeah, I mean it's crazy. There's an echo on your end. I don't know if there's an echo on my end, but there's an echo when you're talking.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but hypoxia, believe it or not, it underlies about 90% of what ails the body. So like if something's going on, just the first thing people should think of is get more oxygen. It's very, very rudimentary and very fundamental. And like you said, like pilots and flight attendants, skiers, that sort of thing. I had a lady that went hiking in Bryce Canyon. And it was so funny because the night before I had met her at an event and I gave her a bottle. I didn't know she was going hiking. She called me a couple of weeks later. She goes, that oxygen saved my life because I was up over 11,000 feet and I had severe altitude sickness. And my girlfriend said, oh my God, take this oxygen. So I drank it and I was fine within minutes and I could hike the rest of the way. So that was, I mean, we just have like so many people that don't realize that oxygen, you can only last a couple minutes without it, and the difference between our oxygen and the oxygen that you breathe, the oxygen that you breathe goes through the bloodstream, your respiratory system in the bloodstream. This goes right into the mitochondria. And the bloodstream oxygen, a lot of times people are having trouble now because of the toxins in the air, the food they eat, their sedentary lifestyle, that sort of thing. And so now, with this, you just drink it and it goes right into your mitochondria, which is like just an amazing feat of science. It's just the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
That's amazing. And, obviously I'm sorry if there's an echo in your ear because that's just adding to the oxygen in your ear, so to speak. So I can say that technology is fun, right? Because you don't hear the echo, but you may be giving that to someone else. What are your plans to expand this business and bring this to the masses? Obviously, you have Atlanta that's going to be helping you out, but I think that this is something because people pop pills, unfortunately, all the time. I'm not making fun of that. Or people have tried to go to over the counter, or they go to their doctor, and there's only so much the traditional medicine sense, as opposed to something that could be your path that is helping people. It's almost two questions. number one, why isn't this more prevalent and taught and available? And number two, what is your expanding business model on this?
Okay, why isn't it more prevalent? People didn't realize it. You know, people are so conditioned to be in the pharmaceutical realm of things, and they just don't realize that something so simple as oxygen can bring you to greater heights and keep you healthy. It's just really amazing. And of course, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to. We don't cure anything. We address hypoxia. That's what we do, and that's our mission in life. And so my plans to expand it. Well, of course, we're going to manufacture here. So right now we're selling on our website, but we're looking for other distributors to distribute it. So I have a guy in England that's going to be distributing over there, and some more people in Italy that will be distributing. And right now we have several warehouses in the United States that we ship out of when people order off of our website. And the goal is to make it a household name so that people understand that the first thing that they should be reaching for instead of a pill is the oxygen, because you would be so surprised that if you just wake up one day and you feel kind of crappy, whatever, you drink a cup of this and it's like, oh, I'm good. I'm good. And I used to take a lot of supplements, a lot. I don't anymore because my body is really healthy now. It's really amazing. So, but I'm not knocking any supplements or anything like that. It's just, but what we've found is that if you take supplements and you take it with the oxygen, it increases the efficacy of what you're taking and what you're doing. So that's a pretty cool thing.
This is one of the more amazing conversations that I've actually had, and I would love to be able to have your product showcased, in another format on the show. Whether it's through a link or through some sort of partnership and branding to be able to help the audience reach this to a bit greater scale and help you scale higher. Because this impacts a lot of people. And again, we're not doctors on here, But having said that, I think that if it's helped you, a cancer survivor, and you're coming from a pure place, I think there's nothing better than an attempt to help people. And fatigue and illness.
Oh my gosh. Rashad, I'd love to come back and actually you could do something. We can talk about it after the show, but I would love to do that because it is my mission to get people to understand this. And it's so easy. It is so easy. I've had people I had this lady with this thing called retinal vein occlusion, and she was like, the doctor told her the only thing they could do is take her eye out.
Oh.
And she's like, what? I mean, come on. So she drank the water for 2 weeks and put it in her eye with an eyedropper. And 2 weeks later, it was completely healed. And that just shows you that's hypoxia.
Right.
Right.
Oxygen,
it helps so many things. And so I would be so happy to be back on your show. I mean, I can tell you so many testimonials from people that we've had and just and I'm a walking success story myself.
I think
and my partner.
I would. Yeah, we can certainly set something up because maybe we can do like a special or something like that about, your particular product, and we can do some special things, I think, with this, because I think that,
that would be cool.
Yeah, listen, I'm 43 years old, but I'm not gonna, lie. I'm not the peak of physical condition. I'm your, average, above average in shape person. I do martial arts, but at the same time, I still wake up like, oh my gosh, why am I so sleepy? Like from what?
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Like from what?
Yep.
So I would love to be able to assist with that, because I think people are looking for more solutions than just being told they have to be cut open or they have to take another pill. Right. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm not knocking the medical profession. The medical profession's obviously done fantastic things, but how often do you Google what you're given from the pharmacist and what could be, a mixture of 2 or 3 different medications that could really put you in a bad position? Because after a while, you just go to the window, take the pill, take it every 2 or 3 hours. And then next thing you know, you're like, why do I feel like crap? Right.
Right. Exactly. I know. And this, and like I said, I used to take a ton of supplements, and I just don't feel like I need them. I had one guy that drank a bottle of my water. We were at a party, and he grabbed it, and he's like, and I told him about it. He's like, oh my God, I want this. He has not drank coffee since then.
That's unbelievable.
He said it gave him so much energy, and he doesn't need coffee anymore. So it's kind of crazy.
You're gonna put you won't like a lot of the coffee companies out there that are gonna suddenly, have a decline in the customer base when they start.
Well, just to clarify, I still drink coffee because I love coffee. I don't feel like I need it though.
Yeah,
I really don't, but I love it. I still love my coffee. It's that cozy feeling that you get when you're drinking it,
For sure. Let's definitely have a follow up, because I think that you don't need me obviously to be anywhere close to where you've achieved in life, but I think this particular product could serve the audience in a very positive manner. So for the purpose of the show, and I always thank people for their time, where can people find Teresa Reile and your wonderful products and services?
To learn about me, they can go to teresareile.com, and my last name is Reile. It's Teresa without an H, and the last name Reile.com. And to get this incredible thing, they can go to patriox.us, and it's Patriox. And I named it that because it's drinkable oxygen for health freedom. That's what it's for.
Yeah,
for health freedom. So we're patriots for health freedom. And that's and
I was waiting for like the Latin term from it. I was like ready to like Google like the Latin term from it, like like maybe this was some ancient Greece or like Turkey location, but I'm like, that's a really dope name, like so.
Yeah, no, I made it up. Because I was lying on the couch one night and I'm like, wow, that is a cool name. Like I'm a patriot for health freedom,
Yeah.
And it was born in about 30 seconds and I just rolled with it.
Listen, sometimes those, those moments of lightning happen when you least expect it. And so that's what it's all about. And so this was a great opportunity for me to learn about what you offer, because I never heard of this before. I'm looking forward to showcasing your product in a future special. And I want the audience to know that Teresa Reile, the entrepreneur that she is, has done fantastic things. And if she can help you in additional ways, you'll see more of her coming up here. And I'm very grateful for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Rashad. It was really great being here with you.
I was a little nervous because when people have accolades like yours, I got to make sure my game is on point. So thank you.
God, I'm just a person. Yeah.
I'm always very appreciative. Thank you, Teresa.
Thanks, Rashad.
That was definitely